My name is Koliva. Do you have an overcomer story for the students?
I do. My overcomer story happened when I was in my 20s. When I was 23, my mom, this is a picture of her, was killed in a car accident. I was living in another country at the time, and so a stranger came to my house to tell me that she'd been killed, and I flew back home. And what made it horrible, even more horrible, I guess, was that my mom was the only person in my life that I felt like I belonged to. My parents had divorced when I was really young, and my father was not in the picture very consistently. And I grew up with a stepfather and a stepbrother and a stepsister that I didn't really get along with. So my mom was the only person that I felt like I really belonged to. She was my rock, she was my best friend. And when she died, everybody expected me to sort of fill in and take her place and help take care of my stepfather, who started dating again just a couple months after my mom died. Not because he didn't love her, but because he was so lonely. And I had no job. I had no place I really felt like I belonged. Even though I had people that loved me, I didn't belong to them. And so I had to figure out how to make my way kind of by myself in the world, until I found something that worked for me. I was in my early 20s, I was 23. I didn't become a party animal. I didn't get into drugs. I just kept trying to put one foot in front of the other. I took a job that I didn't really like, because I needed a job and I needed some kind of structure in my life, and I needed time to figure things out and to find a life for myself, because the life I had known was completely destroyed. I eventually moved into an apartment with an old friend, and it took me a couple years, actually about 2 years, to sort of make changes and start moving my life forward. But I think the important thing was that I was patient. I hurt the whole time. I let myself feel the pain and the grief. And I sometimes even looked for things that would allow me to sort of release that, because after a very short time, everybody expected me to be okay. It's like, oh yeah, your mom died, but that was only a couple months ago. You should be over it by now. I mean, nobody said that, but that was sort of the gist of what I felt. People were tired of my grief. And so sometimes I learned to hide it, and I found places where I could safely let it out. And I just kept doing one day after the other until I made my way. And eventually, everything worked out.